Hi, welcome to my channel. I've had some questions about improvising lately and the thought process, so I thought I would make a little video, get some tips on how to improvise. So let's get started. I'm going to do one of my songs and kind of walk through the process of what I'm thinking about. This song is it's a D minor, G minor, A minor. It's a blues. It's a pretty much like a minor blues thing. And what I'm doing, I'm going to start this off and play a little bit for a minute. So that's your D. What I'm thinking about when I'm outlining the sevens. This is a G now. E, A. So I'm outlining these arpeggios, and but I also use some like walking ideas, basically like walking bass, walking up to the root note, and then I'll play on the side of the notes to lead into like this is your arpeggio. So I can see that shape, and I'll use the notes beside it as well. But you gotta know the entire arpeggio. So I'm gonna play a little bit here. To D. See the shape here. G. D. Get on here. First thing you gotta do is you gotta be able to play on the arpeggios from all the way to the lowest note. Like if you got a D minor, F is your lowest note. F, A, C, D, E, C. I'm sorry. D, F, A, D, F, A. And you got a C. You learn them in these two positions so you can jump back and forth. And the same with the G. And they share notes like the F. So when I'm playing over a D, I know I'm going to G, so I try to avoid. You can play the other notes in the scale, but I try to avoid the notes that are going to be in the next chord, like the G, since it's a root note. And so that kind of gives lessons your what you got to think about. And you got a C right here, which is your 7. So you got that little shape. And that doesn't change. When you get down to a G, you got that 7 here too, in that same shape. So these shapes repeat. It's in minor, and I chose minor because all the shapes are same. A is the same shape. So really, it's a simple song. It's just knowing your arpeggios. And then I just put the chords and a bass line in the background. You know, that kind of bass line. Started, you can just play the root notes. Just play around to find the other notes. I mean, of course, I know the notes pretty well, but if you know the shapes, you know, all you got to do is know that minor shape. Minor 7, the F, A, C. And then the C's here too. You can just play around this shape. G. So if you got a loop pedal or backing track, you can just play that. It's like a root fifth and then seven bass line. So you're playing D to A to C. Classic blues line. Every bass player should know it. You go same pattern up to the G. Back to the D. And then up to the A. Same pattern. And you can lay that down. I mean, even if you got a tape recorder or phone, your phone voice memory, you can record that bass line and then just repeat it. And if to get started, if you're the easiest way, this is what I always do, is start with the one chord. Let me do it on here. An example here. Turn this down here. Okay. Record this in there. A lot of time in learning this stuff, learning how to solo. But when you put chords into a loop or a backing track, it kind of pushes you. You learn faster because you're playing music, you're not just playing notes. And you start seeing the patterns really quick the more you do it. If you put 5 or 10 minutes a day for a while into that, just getting one chord down, you'll pick it up. And then you move up to the G, do the same thing, and practice that G. So put the G bass line in. like both of them ends. So you're gonna play the D and the G. So you can do like 4 times on the D, 2 on the G, 4 times on each, however you want to do it. Whoops, I don't know what's up on tape. I don't know why it does this. Then you practice your Yeah, it's all weird sometimes. 4 times each. Loop pedals are frustrating sometimes. Once you get them two down, you learn that third one, which is your A minor. And if you've been playing a while, you probably already know your A minor pretty well. A, C, E, G, A, C, E, this position. And then you gotta get it down here as well. Shit. After a while, you're gonna start seeing the main shapes inside, and you're just gonna think of you're gonna see that shape, and then you're gonna look for the outside notes. That's not a part of that shape, like this other E, and it just becomes you start seeing the patterns, and the G, and the A here. But you'll see this main shape here first, and then you're going to see the others. And then up here, you got the shape here, or like this. I'll show you a way. This becomes repeating patterns. So you want to get that A down. Them three down, and you put all three of them together. So the main thing is you got to know them patterns, and there's no easy way around it. Like I said, one at a time. That is the easy way. That's the easy way. You gotta learn the notes. There's no fast track. There's no cheat code. You gotta put the work in if you want to play. If you want to improvise, you gotta know notes. So, if you're struggling learning the notes, you can write them down on a piece of paper. Like D minor is D, F, A, and C. You can write that down on a piece of paper over and over 100 times until you get it memorized. And then you got to be able to start thinking inside out. Because your lowest note if you got D, F, A, and C, the lowest possible note you can go is F. So you're going to start there. You're going to go F, A, C, D, F, A, C. And then with your G minor, you got G, B flat, D, and F. F again is your low note. But this time you got the G here, so you're going to go F, G, B flat, D, and F. G here, B flat here, all within this 5 fret range. There's just no fast track. You got to get each position. But the best way is to get a loop pedal, backing track, which if I knew how to put some backing tracks together, I'm not real sure how to do that. But I'll have to look into it. But then you just gotta have that backing track. It makes it way easier. I mean, you can sit down and learn the arpeggios without that, though. The main thing is getting them arpeggios down. And then that whole time, when I'm jamming on that, I'm just outlining the arpeggio shapes. Like that's your C here, D, F, A, and C. I do a little walk up. It's all that arpeggio shapes. Then go to the G here. Your A, G, back to D. And that's basically what I'm thinking about when I improvise. But also the minor pentatonic. If you know your minor pentatonic shape, this is your D minor pentatonic. Start it right here. Well, within that D minor pentatonic, it's all the notes D, F, A, and C, and then D again. So, and then the only other note is that G, A, so your minor pentatonic is basically the same thing. You know, and then same thing with your G. And the A. All the minor pentatonics have those triads inside the pentatonic. So, but it's, I think, in chords and arpeggios, and I think of the other notes as color tones. And you don't even have to stay within the minor pentatonic. You can play on half step away and go into your, if you got target notes, I call them target notes. So if I'm playing a D minor arpeggio, I'll go a half step away into the F like this. Whenever you're on a side of a note, when you go into like your third, this is your third, that's a really powerful note. Like, and you're taught as a bass player, that's another problem, is you're always taught about root notes, and you got to lose that mindset, because when you play a solo, I mean, I do start on the roots a lot, but I also start on the thirds a lot and the fifths. You want to be able to start on any of the notes and go on the, any of them notes. Your third's always a really strong note, so you want to remember that. Like when you're learning to improvise, you try and start on your thirds in the beginning, just to break away from starting on the root all the time. And the third's really powerful. It teaches you to hear above the harmony instead of always thinking root and hearing the root note. Your ear will adapt. It's an amazing thing when it happens. So that's just some of the things I think about when I improvise. It's not easy to learn. I mean, you gotta know your arpeggios. There's no secret trick that's going to make you suddenly be able to improvise. It's just learning them arpeggios and getting them down, you know. And I've always, like a lot of people, they want to learn scales. A scale is a chord. If you take a C scale and you skip every other note, your C scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, you skip every other note, C, D, G, B, D, F, A. That's your entire C scale played in an arpeggio. That's a C13, a big chord. A big chord is, your biggest chord is a 13. That's just your C scale played in every other note. Oops, my bad. That's your C scale played in every other note. So you're better off taking arpeggios. And then when you get arpeggios down, the other notes become like a color note. So once you get the arpeggio down, you got 4 notes of the scale down right there. C, E, G, and B. You're only missing D, F, and A. Unless you play that whole. But the point is, then you learn your D. The next note of the C scale is the D. So you play that every other note, D, F, and C. Instead of just learning scales, you learn arpeggios. And it will make your life easier in the long run. For years, I would worry about learning scales, the modes. You want to know that stuff. But if you can go through a C scale and you can learn all the arpeggios and play it up to scale, then you got a head start because you've got 4 of the notes of all the modes down. If you go up the scale, like I map my scale out on the second string, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and just play on each note of that scale, play the arpeggio. It's a very good habit to get down. And C has no sharps or flats, so it's the easiest one to get down. And then, like, a progression is just those notes played on, you taking notes of the scale, like a 1 4 5, you're taking a C, F, and G. So if you know all those arpeggios, that's 1 4 5 4 1. That's like a common rock and roll progression that you're gonna hear all the time, and that's what progressions are. So I would practice in progressions all the time instead of practicing straight up and down modes. I take the chords 2 5 1, which is jazz, and I would play the chords. And I do the same thing that I showed you with some other chords. I would just practice the arpeggios, and then the modes also. You got your 2 second mode, fifth mode, first mode, and I would practice that daily, hours and hours and hours and hours on end, and just got it down. And I would play it straight up and down, and then after several weeks, I started mixing in uh, patterns within them scales and just doing it that way. And I've done that so, an insane amount of hours. You ain't gonna get it in a day, or you ain't gonna get it in a week. After about a month, if you practice enough, you start to hear it. It takes time. It's nothing easy. It's a commitment. So what you gotta do as an individual is decide how far you want to go. If you want to be good, if you want to be, I mean, at some point in life, you got to decide how good you want to be. If you want to be good, then you got to put the time in. If you want to just play cover songs and just learn songs, that's cool too. But to me, I didn't. I played my whole life and I wanted to be good. So I finally committed to being good. Because I was tired of being mediocre and just knowing cover songs. And that's all cool. But I wasn't happy with that. I sat down, I literally sat down, and I was debating on if I was going to quit playing bass or get serious about it. 'Cause I didn't want to be where I was. I wasn't happy being just knowing cover songs. Some old man come and wanted me to play for him, and I couldn't play anything other than bass lines and stuff that, you know, and I was kind of embarrassed about it, and it made me depressed. And that's when I decided I'm gonna get good. But I sat there for half an hour listening to, thinking about if I want to quit and sell all my stuff, or I want to get serious. Because if I'm gonna get serious, I told myself that day, I'm starting that day, and there's no quitting. And I was 100% in that mindset. Like if I quit, then I'm selling all my shit. That was the choice that I made, and I stuck to it. And that's where I'm at now. And and it was tough, like, because I decided I was going to start, I already knew some theory, but I told myself I want to start completely over, like I never knew anything, and start with the C scale. And I was going through the modes, and I started learning all the modes, and then I realized that wasn't doing me any good. I'm just running up and down the scale. So I decided, well, if you're going to play music, how are you going to play music? You're going to play progressions. So I started practicing in progressions 1 4 5, 2 5 1. And I would take the mode, the first mode, fourth mode, fifth mode, and then I got into doing the arpeggios later on. It was later on I realized that I should have been doing arpeggios the whole time instead of running modes up and down. You got to know both though. But the quicker way would have been to do the arpeggios first, in my opinion, and play over them chords. Because when you start soloing, you're not going to run scales up and down. You're going to run arpeggios up and down. And the, everything else will be outside of that arpeggio. Scale tones, what I call them. But I think the arpeggio first, the rest are the additional notes. And as you learn more, you realize those additional notes don't have to be in key. You just got to lead into a note that is in key. So it opens things up. Like there's almost no key, really. As long as you get back in key and you do it right, it's never a wrong note. Unless you're just playing completely out of key. But as long as you get back in key on the right beats, then it's always going to sound good. If your strong beats are your first beat, as long as you're back in on beat one, you're solid, you know. Everything else is going to sound like it was meant to be, if that makes sense. But the key is getting the arpeggios down, taking, like I said, that's just if you watch this video again, that's just a D minor to a G minor, A minor, progression, minor progression out of D minor, which is F major, technically. But that's just how you get started. And that's just one of my songs. And like, come up with that song just to learn that progression. Just like I do my other songs. And I write a lot of modal music. Like my song Elise is just a F minor to a B. That's all it is. F minor. Again. And I play around the F. I'm sorry, it's an F sharp minor, which is out of E major. It's the second mode of E major. I play the Dorian mode. And then I'm doing that little, which is just it's outlining. This is your F arpeggio, part of it. The first, the root and the third. I'm just outlining that. And then move on to a B. And I do harmonics and stuff. And then that little groove I do is just an F sharp. It's just an F sharp minor arpeggio. Then I walk down B. You got the B right here. I need the beat to do it, but anyways, it's all kind of simple stuff like that. And it's all stuff I wrote in order to learn different modes and different progressions. That's a 2/5 progression, and that's all I stay on. But I use the solo to make it, to have the melody, to make it sound like it changes more than it changes. So it's really good for learning arpeggios. It's really good for playing melodically. And then you just got to know it up and down the neck. There's no quick way. What I just showed in this video is the quick way. So, what I probably want to do, if people are interested, I'll go through some of my other songs and break them down. and show them how I think about them, how I write my solos and stuff, and maybe do like a series on them, do a couple of my other songs. Because when it comes down to it, that's how I study music. And if you can learn how to do that by taking progressions, you'll progress super quickly, super fast. I mean, but you got, in my opinion, you need a loop pedal. You got to have a backing track because you need to hear it, something behind what you're playing. Otherwise, you don't hear the context of it. It makes it really difficult. You can still practice that way, get your arpeggios down. You can just practice with a metronome. But when you want to start soloing, you need to hear the chords in the background. I got the 251 out of C. I lay that down, track, practice over that for hours. And I come up with different melodies all the time. But I started off with just running the arpeggios. That was all I would do was run the arpeggio. The basic one position. I practiced that for hours until it was comfortable under my fingers. And then I would reverse it. Just whatever. Reverse it, then play it from the middle. And just do it that way. You just do different things like that. And then after you get the basic down, you expand it to the next octave. So the thing to do is keep it simple by keeping your basic shapes first of all. Just play the basic, even just the root notes first. On anything, on any progression you're doing. And then add in two notes. Always keep it simple. The more stuff you got to think about, it becomes overwhelming, and then it becomes counterproductive. It will make you quit. You won't want to practice it no more. You got to be creative. Like I had a guy say earlier that he didn't practice that way because it was boring. Well, if it's boring, you're not creative enough. Because I can show you, I can take one chord and I can be creative with one chord. I could write a 10-minute solo with one chord. It's all about knowing the neck. If you only know one position, you're going to get bored, yeah. Well, that's when you're bored, that's when you know it's time to expand. You should never get bored. Ever. It's impossible if you put the time in. So, and always got to challenge yourself. I always challenge myself. Every day I'd get off work, and if I was working on a certain progression, I'd work on the same progression. I would change up the rhythm a little bit. And if I played it fast yesterday, then today I'm going to write a slow solo or a medium solo, and it's going to be a different. I can't play it, repeat the same thing, so that was the only rules that I had. So if I wasn't that good at it, I just reverse the notes or something. I would hold a note out, whatever it took to make it different than the day. Usually that sparks ideas when you do that, and you naturally start progressing when you put time in. It's only hard for a little while, a couple weeks. Then it just starts snowballing, and you start seeing patterns. You start pushing yourself, but that's all depends on how much time you got and how committed. You have to be committed. You can't halfway do it. So you either got to do it or don't do it. I went through that my whole life. You got to make a choice. You either want to play or you don't want to play. You know, or if you're happy just learning songs, then just learn songs and have fun. However, keep it fun. If you have fun playing, just play. You don't have to take it super serious. But if you want to be good, you do got to be serious about it. That's the thing. It's fun. I love it. And once I started learning theory, I love doing it now. But that was only because I decided I wasn't happy not being good. I wanted to be good. But that's a different thought process. Like, you have to commit to being good, you know. And if you got to commit to practicing no matter what, you got to set a goal that you're going to do at least 5 minutes every single day. And if you do it every single day, then it becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, it becomes fun. You make yourself do it. In the beginning, I had to make myself do it. So, and that's what you do. You just make yourself. And then it will become an addiction after a while. But anyways, this video is almost an hour long. Hopefully, people will get something out of it. I don't get a lot of views on my videos. I don't really worry about that. I figure, when I'm gone, somebody somewhere might see it and get something out of it. Because when I was trying to learn all this stuff, I couldn't find any videos that really taught it. And I want to keep teaching more. Hopefully I get better and people can catch on. Some of it's a little bit more advanced. You gotta know notes. If you don't know any notes, you're going to struggle. You gotta learn them notes. You gotta learn that C scale. If you get that C scale first of all, you can build off that. Hopefully, this will help some people out. So, I want to jump off here. I appreciate all the support. If you have any questions, comments, you can ask me in live. Comment on the video. If you want to see some other videos, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. So, thank you all. Have a wonderful day.